Hi, this is Isabelle Litzler, Pleiade HC, the place to be to develop your skills and grow your potential. So today I will address a question I get very often is why I don't hear back from recruiters. So there's different reasons for that. And the first one is really a context reason, meaning that in Switzerland, it's a little bit different than what you're used to. If you come from countries such as the UK, for example, where recruiters tend to be a little bit more active with candidates, they tend to give a bit more feedback, spend a little bit more time. In Switzerland, the focus is more on the employer. So there's an open mandate typically, and the agencies will compete to find the right person to fill the mandate and therefore get paid. So the business model, I would say, is a little bit different here. The focus is more on the employer, getting the right person with the right requirements, and the energy is spent towards that. So if you're someone who applied and you don't fit the requirements, the energy is not necessarily spent on those people who don't meet the requirements. Now, I'm not making any type of judgment here, whether it's right or wrong. I'm just explaining the context and why you're not hearing back. So this is one reason, is the context and the energy is spent more on people who meet the requirement to fill a mandate and therefore get paid. The second reason you're not hearing back is a lack of resources, whether it's in agencies or even within human resources department. Definitely the departments have really slimmed down. Sometimes I talk about this when I started my career in a long time ago. I was working in a huge team of human resources, very specialized people. We were about maybe close to 100, so you can only imagine this is a huge luxury nowadays to have so many HR people. Typically, you would have an HR manager, maybe an HR assistant if you're lucky. So most companies, you only have one person in HR, and this person does everything. So of course, you want to be very conscious of that, knowing that there's not really a lot of resources on the other side. So if you're recruiting for an open position and you get 200 applications and you don't even have an assistant, I can only tell you it's even hard to pull resumes from your computer and finding the time to do this. I know when I was working and I had to do this amongst other things, just finding time to actually get the resumes on my computer and printing them, it just was a struggle. So you have to focus on what's the quickest, who are the people who meet the requirements and work on those. So again, the lack of resources in human resources is another reason why you're not hearing back. There's just no leeway to actually reply to everyone properly. So that's the second reason. The third reason is the quality of your application. So I find that if you have really invested 150% of your energy on having a great resume, probably the person on the other side will be more inclined to reply to you, meaning at least they will give you feedback or a tip or something, especially if it's an agency, because if they find that you have a great resume, chances are they don't want to lose you completely and they want to keep you in their files for future opportunities. So don't underestimate the potential of a great resume. So be extraordinary. I like to use this word, to be different and really go beyond, because in a world where everyone is competing for similar things, you have to be really above the average. So you have to be this extraordinary candidate, the person who took the time to do everything right and organize the resume in a proper way. I do have a webinar on that coming up. So you see, you have really a lot of effort that you can make to have a great resume. So I think these 3 tips are actually a beginning of the journey for you to understand why you're not hearing back. And if you have questions, feel free to comment. I will talk to you soon.